XRP is interesting because it is apparently dying, according to some people. Obviously, I think it's doing fine. If we take a look at XRP from its high down to its current price, it's only down by 22%, and it's only been a day, right? So XRP Army, as usual, will overreact at absolutely anything. They will overreact to absolutely anything, including their AI girlfriend texting them when they resubmit their subscription on their app for their AI girlfriend. Obviously, that's how it goes for the XRP Army. But they are, they're very much still in good shape, in my opinion. I mean, this is just, look, XRP, when it pulls back, it's not great. I mean, it can be scary because typically pullbacks don't go well. Ghost, nay. Typically, pullbacks don't tend to go well for XRP, but we've already seen something quite similar to this, and it just ended up forming, a pattern that ended up looking a little bit like this, just where the price action kind of consolidated and then it popped again, right? So I wouldn't want to rule something like that out right now. Obviously, everything's going to be a little bit different with the Bitcoin at, above $100,000, but for the most part, I think we're still looking at a pretty clear, pretty easy setup here for XRP, where, look, it's got some support. It could drop a little bit lower down to like $1.40. That's a 50% crash, and then it would potentially be in a very good place for a bounce. Obviously, it doesn't even have to drop down that low. And obviously, much more of this is going to be dependent on Bitcoin itself. And, against Bitcoin on this chart here, against the Bitcoin chart, it did top out at resistance right here. It's now finding support in, what used to be a resistance zone for XRP. So, it also used to be support, but, I think that's also particularly interesting for XRP. They are still in trouble. The same issue for XRP Army exists. By the way, I said that I don't own any XRP, but it turns out that I do, and I just didn't remember. So I do actually own some XRP, not very much, but enough to enjoy the gain. But that, and I haven't sold it yet, but that is something that I'd seek to sell. I don't know. I'll see. It doesn't really matter to me. It's just play money at the end of the day. But, I do think that, it's still the same shitty pump and dump coin that it always has been. XRP Army kind of hopes that's going to change, but, they're also just as delusional as they've always been. It's just not going to change. A lot of people get really upset about this kind of anti-XRP sentiment, but you wouldn't get it if you don't actually understand the philosophy of crypto, and if you don't appreciate sovereignty as an individual, and especially if you like to rush up, but behind the bankers in the world and behind the very, very centralized institutions that call the shots in the world. Number 3 coin is a shit coin. Oh yeah, absolutely it is. It 100% is. It doesn't have to. This is entirely a coin that's been propped up by the very same establishment that crypto was decided was created to destroy, or at the very least to offer an alternative to. XRP basically gives them a back door into our beautiful sovereign finance space. And on top of that, it's just extremely heavily manipulated, right? This is a chart of dire manipulation. Could that change now and XRP starts rallying nicely and, things go well and it goes above $10, goes above $20 and so on? Yes, absolutely, that could happen, but it would be the first time in, its entire existence, other than 27, it would be the first time since 7 years that ends up happening. And you know what? If you're really bullish, you might actually think that is going to happen, but realistically, man, here's my take. From 2017, or I should say from 2018, for about 6 years, this thing, is really just, not doing particularly well compared to anything else that you could have bought in that same time frame, right? You compare April 2018 Bitcoin, which was at about $6,000 probably, to today, at $103,000, and it's like a 15x gain, right? XRP, and it's just laughable, the fact that the XRP Army is so happy about their absolutely minimal gains. You've got, you've made orders of magnitude less than somebody who just stayed in Bitcoin, and you had to be an absolute fool for it for the last 7 years as well to get there. To me, that just ain't adding up, right? To be in because it's psychological capital, right? Like, you've been tormented for the last 6-7 years while holding this coin, and you probably yourself have felt, this isn't quite the best place to be and so on. And that happens to all of us, even if we're just in Bitcoin, but it's way more intense, when you're in an altcoin, because, Bitcoin itself is big and there's just more people in it. It's more of a shared kind of path, but XRP, Yeah, granted, it's large, it's very, very big, but you know, it's also just a pump and dump playground, and so that same issue remains, and it's not gonna go. It's not gonna go. I think it's overwhelmingly likely that XRP is gonna do. I don't think it's gonna end up, you know, kind of establishing a new baseline and doing anything particularly interesting. Maybe it does, but it won't be, you know, significantly better. It'll have its day. Patience is a virtue. Yeah, sure. I mean, while XRP eventually has its day, I think the rest of us will just continue actually fucking making money and staying in assets like Bitcoin, which have done much, much, much better, you know, over that time, and where we don't have to pay that significant psychological capital payment, where we lose our psyche over time, we lose our objectivity, where we lose our belief in ourselves because we're holding on to something that's performing so badly. You know, there's a lot more than just money that you've lost if you've been holding XRP, even after all of these pumps, because of you know, what you could have been enjoying from Bitcoin. And I think that's, you know, if you're in an altcoin and you're not making substantially more money than a Bitcoin holder across a large time frame, then you're just stupid, right? You're just stupid. And the reason that I'm saying that is because you're literally taking on additional risk for less reward. Like, if that's not what stupidity means, then I don't know what it does. I don't know what it does mean. You know, but like I said, look, if there's money to be made, that's where it gets interesting. And again, XRP gets interesting only for its Bitcoin chart, which again, I mean, and XRP Army are going to get all the credit in the world for this. This is a damn good chart. I mean, this is a really, really good Bitcoin chart. It's obviously not a chart of progression. It's literally never, it's never progressed against Bitcoin in its entire price history. You know, from 2014 to 2015, it more or less established this range, and it has never left it. I don't anticipate it's ever going to leave it, or at least not even in this market cycle, but it doesn't need to. You see, if XRP just gets from here back to the kind of rough top of this range, that is a 300% move up, or in other words, that is a 4 times increase against Bitcoin. So 1 Bitcoin over here turns into 4 Bitcoins up here, and that is where this stuff becomes a lot more interesting to me, because you got to make substantially more money than a Bitcoin holder at these kind of points of time in history. Now, this has not been the case since 2018, right? I mean, since 2018, there have been no winners in the XRP market. I mean, there have been little pumps like this, but they, you know, they get erased very, very quickly, and then they just kind of slowly bleed out to death afterwards. This one could be different because Bitcoin has broken 100K, and we're in a very, very different kind of segment in the market right now, very, very different cycle, very different phase in the market. So absolutely, it could be different for those reasons, and that's actually why I think XRP is, and I think it's the singular reason that XRP is interesting. You know, it's just that it looks like it has so much higher to go against Bitcoin. And this, I mean, you know, this is really, really appealing, right? I mean, this is what makes it very, very compelling to be kind of holding at this stage in the market here. So that's very cool. Let's bring it back to Bitcoin. Like I said, we're going to be switching back to Bitcoin at various points throughout this live stream, just kind of taking a look to see what's going on here. But I think that it's looking pretty sweet. Obviously, those of you that do want to trade XRP, you already know the deal. You can trade it with free money when you start trading using these links down below. So just after making your first deposit and starting to trade, they will give you more free money, Blowfin and Bybit both, with very, very aggressive offers. And then any profits you generate after you trade XRP or whatever are going to be yours to keep and yours to withdraw. So very, very cool if you're not from a restricted region there. So definitely check it out. And obviously, as you are down there, make sure that you hit up those likes and subscribe to the YouTube